welcome to What Is It About the Weather? Where once a week we get together and explore the many ways that intertwine life and weather. This week, we're going to be talking about what you do at 100. That's right, 100. But before jumping into that area, let me take a moment to say thank you for all that are supporting the podcast. What you've done has helped tremendously in our outreach, keeping us going, making it financially viable, all those sort of things. So thank you. I hope out there somewhere over the course of the last, well, it's been not quite 2.5 years, but just short of that. But let's just round up. Just for good measure, let's round up. Over the last couple years and a half, you've had more than one occasion to be able to stop, pause, look around, think about how weather is having a different sort of impact than you ever imagined. Because we've turned 100. And realistically, that would normally come at about the 2-year window. But in the beginning, we were intertwining those, speaking of intertwining, those video episodes, the You Ask, We Answer episodes, with the regular audio episodes. Then we also had a couple of short kind of non-episode episodes, if you will. Because, I was taking 1 week off per quarter just to take a breather. But I found that people really liked that sort of weekly thing, so I did a little filler stuff. Introduced the new cloud series that we did, which of course we did in the middle of all that as well, and is still up on the YouTube page. Haven't done a new episode in a while. Had a couple of opportunities, seen some neat cloud formations, but really haven't had a chance to stop and get video input. So hopefully I'll add to that in the future. But here we are at 100. 100 of the regular audio episode, full length, if you will. So what do you do when you turn 100? My wife's grandmother turned 100. It's been a couple years now. We had a birthday party, celebrated. She's still with us. Role model for what you can still do at 100. But 100's kind of it's a milestone. Many podcasts never get there. Never, ever get there. And we've covered all sorts of stuff, right? We've looked at the science side of things, but that's not ever been the focus really, right? But not just the weather science, but even the science of other areas. We did those recent episodes on plant stuff and really got into some science there. The statistics in math, I guess you could call it math, but I think of that as being a science in terms of how we think about the information in front of us, so data science. But how the forecasts are made, how it touches a variety of industries. But most importantly, it's all been about looking at how weather touches us, right? How different weather elements influence our lives, shape our lives, impact our lives, teach us things, all those sort of things. So we've covered a lot. History, that whole kind of recurring series. The little mini-series that we did, right, about where your forecasts come from. All those sort of things. We've hit a lot of different things. So what do you do at 100? We haven't pod faded, which is good. But I've been thinking back to something I said a few episodes ago about summertime. And maybe it's time to hibernate. And I think it's going to be time now for this podcast to hibernate a little bit. And that's why I don't want to pod fade. I don't want you looking for episodes and wondering what's going on. But I think it's time to take a breather. Here at 100. Step back from it a little bit. You've heard me talk about some thoughts for the future, right? Interviewing people, which would means some different equipment set up to make it viable. Maybe I could do less frequent. Maybe we could incorporate the book club like that was brought up, right? Heck, I could even imagine doing a whole, as we've talked about in the history episode, lots of more history, just looking at it a different way and the role weather played. There's so many different ways that things could go forward, and it's almost too many. And so, given that summer's here, and I hate getting overheated, I thought I would take some time to step back and really think about things, right? Think about what the best path forward is at 100. Now, that doesn't mean not coming back, doesn't mean that there's no future, but it'll probably look different. You know, over the last 2.5 years, we've had over 100,000 downloads of the main episode. So that's at least, on average. A 1,000 downloads per episode on average. It's incredible for a one-man show without any real promotion other than what you guys did, word of mouth. It's, I'm still fascinated by it. Over 150 countries. Actually, if you look at the art for this episode, I'm doing a final map update of where we are as of now. But it's still stunning to me that we live in a day and age where this podcast could go out and reach so many countries, so many people, so many different cultures. We had this kind of common thing, this weather theme, but not focus so much on the weather, but the role weather plays. And so what I want to do is I want to really spend some time thinking about that and think of what the best way forward is. You've heard me mention, it's a bit tough at times, being that it is a one man, one mic show, because everything falls on me. And when we were doing National Weather Podcast Month, all these other people you heard me mentioning were either large ensembles or at least groups of a few people that each person in that mix could pick up or be available maybe if one or the other wasn't. And I didn't have that luxury. And in many cases, I was doing more frequent episodes than even a lot of the, most of the podcasts. Not all of them, but most. And I'm stuck to that week in, week out. So I don't know. I don't know what the right mix is or the right changes or what's the best approach. But I'm not going anywhere. The website's still going to be there. It's not going anywhere in the short term. It's still going to be there. But what I would tell you is, keep subscribed to the feed, and in time, you'll probably see something that says where we're going. I wouldn't expect anything before the end of summer. We're getting this. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, right? It's the kickoff of summer. So if I were you, I wouldn't probably expect anything before Labor Day, which is the traditional end of summer here, that first weekend of September here in the States, right? So I would hold off and, leave the subscribe button on. But in the meantime, you're probably not going to see much. I may tweet occasionally, may do a few other things. But as far as the show goes, it's time to breathe. It's time to reflect on what's been done and see where we can go from here, right? And of course, I would encourage you, if you have thoughts or ideas and you haven't shared them previously, reach out. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going anywhere. You'll still hear back from me. You'll still be able to go to the website, whatisitabouttheweather.com/contact, and use the form there. Or, as always, you can send an email, whatisitabouttheweather@gmail.com. Either way, you get to me. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Now's your opportunity. If you never did, it's easy to do. And any input's appreciated. And I'll do my best to figure out how to take those thoughts and those ideas and make them a part of wherever things go from here. At the same time, however, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to say thank you again for all the support. Now, that support has come from other podcasters that served as role models for me, like Tom Merritt at the Daily Tech News Show, or Father Roderick over at Tridio, or fellow weather podcasters, or just friend podcasters like Amos and Kent over at the Ritual Misery podcast. You know, having those relationships and those role models has gone a long way, in for not just for me, for a lot of people in this medium. You know, as I'm seeing more and more kind of big organizations take on podcasting and recognize it as kind of a new media and a mainstream media now. For us little guys, it's you know, it's like with a lot of things. Having access to this community has helped us all thrive. So thank you to all those people. But I particularly want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you as listeners, as promoters, as creative minds helping shape the episodes, those that have financially supported the podcast, like I said early on. It means the world to be able to have that support in driving where the podcast goes. But I particularly want to thank 3 individuals who I would say went above and beyond in contributing and taking the time to be actively engaged in what was going on continuously over long periods of time. Susan, Aaron, and Kevin, thank you. It's funny, I was writing all those names down. I realized that they all ended with N. Don't know if there's anything to that, but it doesn't matter. The 3 of you took a step above and beyond, and it's greatly appreciated for all that you did. And I look forward to, what round 2 looks like, and you guys being actively involved at that stage as well. So as I head into hibernation mode for a while, yes, weather's driving that. Weather's impacting my life. It's too hot for me, at least for now. I look forward to the fall, the smells of fall. But for now, I'll go ponder more about how weather shapes what I do and is a part of my life, and I encourage you to do the same. So until we talk again, we'll close with our saying that we all know well now. There's much more to weather than the weather itself.
This is WIIATWEP100 production.